Hey, this is Jim. Welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. We've got a guest on today's episode. It's another one of our proven Amazon course students who's succeeding while working a full-time job with a family. He's doing some really great stuff, and he's going to share some of the strategies for finding products that he sells. He's going to talk about some of our coaches on our Jim Cockrum coaching program that he's interacting with. He happens to be really good friends with one of our coaches, and that's who's helped him get into this business. And they're actually helping each other back and forth grow their business, which is a cool strategy we dive into in today's episode. Finding somebody that you can kind of unofficially partner up with and share ideas back and forth while both of you sometimes even sell the same product and kind of cooperatively swap ideas that way. Anthony's a really cool dude. You're going to enjoy hanging out with him. He's very down to earth, very matter of fact. He's a welder by profession and makes good money doing it and enjoys doing it. But at some point, he plans to get out of that industry and go full-time just in e-commerce. His best month was about $37,000 about 6 months or so after they started. Had a very profitable month recently as well. He's going to share those details, and he's been doing it a very short time. He hasn't been through a fourth quarter yet, which is when things get really exciting, October, November, December. So he's got that coming up, and I think he's going to do really, really well based on what he's told us today. He's got a few hundred products that he sells. He's in the Replens model, which again, that's where we start the vast majority of new sellers in our community when they come to us and say, hey, I want to start an online business. What works? I'm willing to work. Just tell me what works. It's Replens on Amazon. That means selling everyday items that are easily sourced locally off store shelves or online off those same store shelves virtually and resold at a very nice profit margin on Amazon. We teach you how to identify them, how to find the winners, how to make sure that you don't fall into any traps along the way. And you can build up dozens or hundreds of these Replens and just go out, buy them over and over again as they sell. That's the business model that's behind hundreds of recent success stories in our very publicly available free Facebook group, which is another link you can find at silentjim.com. Jump into our 65,000 member Facebook group and see the hundreds of success stories for yourself. Most of the new students, like I said, have started with Replens, but we also move you on into other models as well, wholesale sourcing and private label, many success stories in those arenas. But we love starting you with Replens, which is where Anthony's story is today. Because again, he's been doing this just a few months. He's built an incredible business and he's excited for the future. It's just a two-person team, just Anthony and his wife. And we're going to learn a little bit about his story today and ask him some questions. I hope you learned some good tips and strategies. Another thing I love about Anthony's story, this is yet another example of someone who's out there using only one software tool. And I don't get paid to say this. They're not a sponsor of our show, but it's a $17 a month tool that we love around here because it's by far the best tool any Amazon seller could ever have in their tool belt. Keepa, $17 a month. It's called Keepa. And we'll stick a link in the show notes as well. I'll throw my affiliate link in there too. If you want to use it, I think we get $5. That's not the point. Skip the affiliate link if you just want to grab the best software, but you're going to need to know how to use it to find Replens. That's where we recommend our course, the Proven Amazon course. That link's in the show notes too. But with that little mini setup and mini education, hopefully you found that useful. We're going to jump into Anthony's story now. Hey, please share this episode with other people who are trying to build a business online. We'd love for you to send them our way. We've taught more people how to launch and grow successful businesses on Amazon than anyone, to my knowledge. We've been doing it about a decade. Thousands of great feedback stories and success stories, hundreds of recent documented stories in our Facebook group that you can scroll through, candid stories. Plenty of evidence there that this stuff works around the world if you're ready to do it. We're here to help you. Hey, let's jump over and meet Anthony now. You're going to enjoy this episode. So Anthony, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio, man. Great to have you here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
It's our honor. Looking forward to hearing your story because I know just a little bit of it, but let's jump right into it. Let's hear from your words. Like, what got you started on Amazon, man?
Well, like back at the end of September, like beginning of October, I'm friends with Abe and Adam Chanos, which obviously they're part of the group, and Adam's a coach for you guys.
Yep, one of our great coaches.
Yeah, he's really good. And Abe, he posted on Facebook about how, like, in a 12-month period, They had like 500,000 in sales on Amazon. And I was like, hold on. I was like, how much? So I messaged Adam because I know Abe, but I don't know him as well as I do Adam. So I messaged Adam, hey, what's this about? And, he gave me some of the info, told me about PAC, told me about the my Silent Sales Team Facebook group. And so he sent me an invite. I joined the group and started looking into it, opened my account. And at the beginning, Adam just kind of told me little bits, I think, to kind of make sure I would jump in. Didn't want to like hand me everything,
Right.
Because if somebody hands you everything, you're not going to work as hard to do it.
Sure.
So I started watching some of Jeff Clark's stuff, like how to do the garage sales and all the PAC videos from him. And we started selling books and stuff about mid-October. And I kept seeing people in the group talking all about Replens. And I'm like, right. What is Replen? It should have been a no-brainer, but I was like, okay, what is that? And then they start saying like everyday stuff, whether it's sporting goods or groceries, which I know the group biggest thing is groceries.
Yeah, it can be anything really. Yeah, groceries is a great category for sure.
Oh yeah, because everybody's got to eat, right?
Yep.
And so I started looking for Replens and started watching some of those videos in PAC. And actually, my first item I found because I was talking to somebody I was buying books from that used to sell on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me the item they used to sell, and they got tired of Amazon's rules, all the rules they started making. So they're like, I'm only selling books. That's all I'm selling. I'm tired of dealing with the other stuff. I'm like, okay. I was like, so you don't care if I kind of look into this product? And they're like, no. Well, that product was way too many people. Couldn't sell it. But I found another product that was similar, and it was selling at the time like 30 to 40 times a day, at least. It actually sells, it's not profitable now, but it sells over 200 times a day now. But I can't sell it because there's no money in it.
Sure.
People just bottomed out the price. But then because of that, I found another item and then another, and I started finding similar products or products in that area. And then I just started randomly just walking through the store, different areas, and finding stuff. And what I didn't like at the beginning was obviously there's a lot of stuff. I was like, man, this is a high profit item. I can't sell it. I'm gated. I'm like, Adam,
right.
So I started contacting Adam. And I actually, because he got me started in this, I'm like, if I can't sell it, I might as well tell Adam about this item.
That's right. Partner up.
I started telling him about stuff. I'm like, hey, I can't sell this. It's 30-40% profit item, or 30-40% margin. So he'd start selling. Well, he started returning the favor because there's certain items he was already selling. Like, hey, I can't keep this in stock. Go ahead and sell this. We started tag teaming stuff. Working down the line, once he saw that I was serious, I started, I think, November, I broke 10,000, my first full month, and selling on Amazon.
Wow, 10,000 in total sales your first full month.
Yes.
That's hitting it.
Mid-October.
That's great.
It was mostly because of that one item I found, and it took off.
Yeah.
There was only like 1 or 2 people on that listing. And then another thing was, Adam was surprised. He's like, I was calling people straight from the get-go. That first replan, I was buying straight from the manufacturer. And he's like, really? I'm like, well, yeah. I was like, don't you? And he's like, no. He's like, I ain't contacted any manufacturers yet. I was like, my dad owns a print shop in Ohio, so I've been around retail my whole life.
Yeah, you're not afraid to call the guy, the distributor on the label, right? Call him up.
No, and that's what I did. I looked at the product. They had the website on there. I looked up the website, went straight to the website and called them.
Hey, I want to place an order.
Oh, yeah. And I had to fill out all the paperwork and everything. But
sure.
The good thing was they were based in another state. So I didn't have my sales tax permit at the time. I didn't have to pay sales or pay the taxes because they were in another state. So,
right.
And they shipped it to me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I was buying like $2 cheaper from them.
Yeah.
So
what was the price point? What were you paying and what was it selling for?
Price when I originally first got it at the store, it was like $5 and something. And I was selling it at like $13.49, $15, somewhere in there at the time. And then when I got it from the manufacturer, I was getting it for $3.25.
Sure.
And people just started bombing out the price. It got under $10 at one point.
Right.
I'm like, you can make maybe $1 at that price. I'm like, it's not really worth your time.
Sure.
Packaging and everything. But, I started calling other manufacturers too from that, and then, like I said, the worst thing they can say is no. But if you don't call them, you're not going to get it. You're going to get a no anyway if you're not calling.
Yep. You're right.
So I actually have like five or six different places that I order directly from. Unfortunately, some of them are out of stock of that item, of some of that merchandise because of COVID and everything. I can't even buy it from them. I have to search a whole bunch of different stores. Or OA, I've been able to find some of the products online, and that's my favorite thing because I get free air pillows, free boxes, all that kind of stuff. My wife told me we need to throw out some of these air pillows, and I'm like, I don't like throwing out air pillows.
You reuse those things, right?
I have like 4 cases of them things.
Yeah.
All in my garage, a couple boxes over here. I don't like throwing out air pillows.
Yeah. That really helps you absorb some of the shipping expenses from ordering online, right? If they're already, a lot of places ship free. Some people say, I don't want to have stuff shipped to me. You got to pay for shipping if I'm going to sell it. Well, a lot of times you get free shipping and the price is just as competitive as retail. Plus you get all the free packing supplies, right?
Oh, yeah. That is my favorite part. Right. Which reminds me one thing, you mentioned the free shipping. Mm-hmm. I want to point out too, a lot of people don't know is Walmart Plus. Do not get Walmart Plus and try to use that to purchase products online. Because I got Walmart Plus. I was like, free shipping. I can order small orders and have them shipped to me for free. They do not like resellers on Walmart Plus. My account was banned with Walmart Plus in less than a day.
Really? Wow. How much volume did you send through it?
I only placed like 6 or 8 different orders. And I bought 6 of an item a few times. And then I bought 36 of an item one time. And it canceled actually half the orders, and Walmart Plus, and it sent me an email saying, hey, we don't allow resellers to use Walmart Plus, blah, blah, blah. You can't have this account anymore. I'm like, that would have been really good to know ahead of time. Now I can't use Walmart Plus.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Yes. Yeah. We use it occasionally, but not a lot. Because of the free delivery and that sort of thing, but we don't place a lot of big orders with multiples. I think you're safer maybe placing onesie twosies, that kind of thing.
If you do that, you won't get. It's no problem. It's just I was placing I placed a few, 2 or 3 orders of 6 of one item, and then the one I ordered 36.
Yeah, that raised a flag somewhere. They probably got a limit in there somewhere.
Yeah. So, but you live and learn.
Sure.
I can at least still get Walmart Plus through my wife, but we won't use that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So how's your business doing now? Get us up to date. You haven't been doing this that long. You had $10,000 your first month. I mean, what happened next?
Adam kept nagging me about doing FBA.
Right.
Like, man, you got to get FBA. You got to get FBA. It's so much easier, so much.
So you were doing all your own shipping that first month?
All of it, even December, November, wow. December. Yeah. And my wife was actually, my third daughter, I got 4 girls. My third daughter would help her take the stuff to the post office before she dropped her off at the bus stop, because we had so much stuff and I would be at work. I'd go to work at 7 a.m. So I couldn't help her do that.
Right.
And Adam kept telling me, he's like, FBA, man, you need FBA. Well, I sent in like 2 items, just a couple boxes of them right before Christmas. And then, of course, went in vacation mode and had like no sales those 2 weeks except for those 2 items. And I'm like, yeah, I really need to get into doing what Adam said and do FBA.
Right.
So January, I got back, beginning of January, and I had to go travel 3.5 hours from my house. So I didn't really get to do much FBA through most of January. End of January, though, they gave us an option, voluntary layoff, or they didn't know where they're going to send me. And I took a voluntary layoff. I'm like, let me do some of this right here. And I found my best-selling item at that time, and I put like everything into FBA. We are like 98% FBA right now.
Okay, so you're doing very little of your own shipping now, merchant fulfill. You're sending it all to Amazon's warehouse.
Oh, yeah. Especially after I found out how cheap storage was for Amazon. I was like, as much stuff as I sent in there, I was only paying like $75 a month. I'm like, I'm going to get this out of my house.
That's great. Good for you. How'd you find that? What's the story behind that real profitable item that you found?
I actually had been to that store several times and they never had it. That's actually the item I told you about earlier, that the manufacturers actually can't find it, can't keep up with it, because where they get some of their stuff from for that product had hurricanes and stuff, and they can't get it. So they were way back ordered. And I just happened to see it sitting there, and I was like, let me check this item here. And the sales rank was terrible. But I looked at Keepa, because Adam told me right off the bat, that's all you need to start is Keepa.
Yep.
That's all I had until like the end of April. I finally got a repricer, and that made it so much easier too.
Yeah. But so at this point, still, you've just got Keepa and a repricer as your only two tools?
Yeah. I added the repricer, like I said, at the end of April. And then, I got a couple other tools, but they're free tools that Adam told me about.
Sure. Okay.
So, but I was like, I looked back in Keepa on that item, even though it was like terrible sales rank. And there was no sellers on that. But that item had been ranked as high as top 1,000 in its category. I'm like, okay, let me buy 4 of them. Let me take them home. And I put them on Amazon. 1 sold on the way home, and then the other 3 sold the next morning. So I went back to the store and bought the rest. And I actually, at the peak, I was selling over 100 of that item a week. And
wow.
Yeah, it slowed way down because not so much because of other people get on that listing. It's just similar items.
Yeah, competition.
Similar items, people lowballing and it buying from a different company, since it's the same item pretty much anyway. So, but that's why you keep finding more. I mean, I try to spend at least 2 days a week where I get 3 or 4 hours either online or go to the store.
Gotcha. How many different stores do you hit when you go out?
Usually I only do 1 or 2 because of the fact that I'll be in that store for 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I mean, how many stores do you source from locally? Like what's your pattern there?
I got a lot of stores because I live near Houston.
Okay.
So if I find an item at a store and it sells, I hit up a lot of those stores.
Gotcha.
I usually try to leave some on the shelf because I have so many stores around me that I can't.
Right.
I'll pull off the top shelf or whatever.
Yeah.
And then pull the ones forward so everybody else can reach the last 2 or 3 that I left.
Yeah, you reset the shelf a little bit, leave it looking nice. That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah, I don't want them getting mad at me and not wanting me to shop there.
Good Replens ethics there. I love it. Yeah. So you hit several stores. How many ASINs do you have in your arsenal?
Counting, I got some books on there too. Selling out the rest of the books that I had. But I have 350, I think, something like that. And maybe 100 of them are not replens. All the rest are replens that I got selling on there.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And you are actively finding more new replens every week, right?
Yes.
So about how many a week is your goal? You said you try to do it a day or 2 a week.
I don't really have a goal. I I have so much time that I have, and if I find a bunch, awesome. I mean, I've had days where I found in just a few hours, I found 10, 15 replens.
Right.
Days I only find one or two.
Right.
I mean, the other day I only found 3. One of them I can't source because everybody sold out. Another one, I just got 2 in yesterday. I ordered 2 of it to test it. It was a little higher priced item. I'm trying to find higher priced items now that I'm getting more coming in. And both of them sold last night, like within 2 hours of putting them on there for like a $45 profit.
So you listed a merchant fulfill then
to test them. I was like, well, let me go ahead and just try it.
Yeah. Do you do that? Do you do that frequently? Like test it, merchant fulfill. If it takes off, then you turn it into an FBA seller for you?
Depends on the item.
Yeah.
Because there's some items that, for whatever reason, FBA is like way cheaper. And I'm not talking like $2 or $3. I'm talking sometimes it's $6, $8 cheaper to do it FBA.
Right.
And I'll send it in there just because of that. Or if I'm unsure of an item, I will test it FBM and just take a $2 profit because I know it'll make $10 if I send it in FBA.
Right. I got you.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't like, they've been lagging a lot lately on the FBA.
Checking in product.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're slow.
At first, it was on point. Like I would have everything checked in within a week, week and a half. And my buddy Adam was like, man, why is yours so fast? Mine takes like 3 or 4 weeks. Mine's been taking 4 to 6 weeks lately on some items. Just all of a sudden, I don't know what's lagging, but they've been terrible.
Yeah. And it gets worse around Christmas time. You want to really use caution and plan on doing as much shipping as you can. November, December, that you can make a lot of money if you're willing to do some shipping. FBA is so great, but they're going to be really slow checking stuff in for sure.
Yeah. And my wife, she stays at home. I mean, she babysits some. But she does a lot of the packaging. She was doing all of our merchant fulfilled, and I was doing all the FBA until we went 98% FBA. Now she helps me with it.
Gotcha.
But anything merchant fulfilled, she still does. So
it's just the two of you then, right? Is that your business?
Yes, it's just me and her, and we were having my daughter help us a little bit when we had a lot of certain items and something that was simple, but she wanted to get a more permanent job, so she actually just started at Chick-fil-A today.
Oh, it's a good first gig for a kid.
Yeah, she got to go work for the Lord's Chicken.
Yeah, some Jesus chicken, right?
Yep. And my buddy's actually her boss. So
there you go.
Yep.
Well, that's good. Yeah, one of my kiddos had a good stint there too, and they got a good work ethic they'll put in those kids for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's the two of you, and we haven't talked about numbers for your business. I know your first month was 10,000, and that's not all that long ago. So we're talking about 6 months or so, right? At this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So how's it going?
Right after I started FBA, February actually was $37,000 in February, and that was the first month like I was heavily FBA.
Right.
So after that happened, I was like, okay, should have listened to Adam a lot sooner.
Yeah.
So I could have had that a month like that probably a lot quicker. And then March and April broke 30,000 as well. And then May and June have been slower, but a couple people in the Facebook group have mentioned that May and June are the slowest months of the year.
Yeah, so, they can't. Yeah, they certainly can be. Summer can be slow, but it's just the setup. August, September, you start to see it ramping up. October, November are no joke. And of course, December is going to just be insane. So this is going to be your first December where you're really kind of locked and loaded on this opportunity.
Yeah, because I had, like I said, those 2 FBA items that I sent in right before Christmas, right before I went to Ohio to visit family, because I live in Texas. And that was it. That's really the only FBA I had for quarter 4 last year.
Right.
Those 2 items.
Just a couple products. And now you got it, couple hundred. So it's going to be a very different experience. You're gonna wipe out your inventory and get some big checks. It's going to be a blast. Man. So you're working full time then still? I know you have another job, you said.
Yeah, I just started back to work. I was off for a few weeks.
The voluntary layoff.
Not the second time. First time I took a voluntary layoff, I went back to work. I called them. I said, "Hey, when can I come back?" And so I was off 4 weeks. I wanted to get my FBA and all that started.
Right.
And I did that.
Okay.
And I got back to work and worked a couple, 3 months. And then I got a non-voluntary, like it laid us off.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the first person I called on my way home was Adam. And he goes, "Oh," he's like, "Man, I'm sorry." And I go, "I'm not." And he's like, "I'm not either then."
Yeah.
And he straight up tells me, he goes, "Anthony, your last layoff was the best thing that ever happened to my wife and I, because we were sharing all the items I couldn't sell."
Right.
And then he's like, "Me and my wife know what you're going to do this time." And we found a whole bunch more stuff this time.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You turned it into opportunity, man. You can ask yourself when those tough things hit. One of the good questions you can ask is, what does this make possible? Rather than, oh no, what am I going to do? That's a very different question than, what does this make possible? And for you guys, it made possible a whole lot of free time to find more replens and grow your business. That's exactly what you've done.
Yep.
Yeah,
and one good thing also on top of that is the fact that it's a kind of a learning experience for my daughters. Mm-hmm. They see me get laid off, where a lot of people be freaking out, panicking, whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, is what it is. I mean, it's, you just got to trust them and know everything's going to be all right. And they see me not freaking out. They see me trusting, and they know about me getting a job offer 2 weeks ago, within 30 seconds of telling my buddy Adam that he made a comment at 12:07 p.m. about me being able to quit my job soon. And I go, "Well, I'd have to have a job to quit." LOL. And within 30 seconds, I had a job offer from somebody that didn't even know I was having that conversation with my buddy Adam.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So you're still looking to make your Amazon business like a side gig on top of whatever your main career is. And you said you do welding, right?
Yes, sir. I weld. I mean, if you want to call it weld, I mean, I'm kidding.
You get a little technical on me. That's all right.
No, I was kidding, acting like I don't know how to weld.
I got you.
If you talk a big game, you got to back it up when you're a welder.
I got you. Yeah, I'm sure every industry kind of has their, levels of proficiency. I wouldn't know a good one from a bad one if I saw it, but I guess you get that. What a nice straight bead is a good welder. I don't know.
It's just, there's a way it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
And I talk myself down because I don't want them to sit there and think that, oh, he thinks he's great. We need to watch him, because usually guys that are the biggest talkers on welding are the worst welders.
Sure. Right.
I talked myself down on welding so bad one time that they had me doing other stuff. And then they asked me if I was a vert welder, and I said, "Yeah, I'm a vert welder." And they said, "You any good?" I said, "I do all right." So they didn't have me weld verts. Well, 6 months goes by. I'm still with that crew doing other stuff, and a guy calls off. And they said, "Hey, Anthony, you're a vert welder, right?" I said, "Yeah." "Hey, go weld verts." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "I'm leaving at lunch today, right?" They're like, "Yeah." They're like, "But you can do it while you're here." I get done. I leave at lunch. I told one guy, I said, "Hey, Tanner, I got to leave. Can you finish this vert for me?" He's like, yeah, that's fine. I come back Monday. He comes up to me and he goes, "Anthony, I know you've been doing this for a while, and I figured you kind of know what you're doing. Man, I rolled over to your vert, and that thing didn't look darn near perfect." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man." And he goes,
Go ahead.
He goes, "I told Clint." And I said, hold on. Clint's my boss at the time. I go, "Would you tell Clint he goes, I told Clint, I don't know why you ain't got Anthony up there welding Burts, man. I was like, oh man, why did you tell him that? I didn't want to be up there.
Right. You're kind of trying to hide your talent, huh? You said, not that this is a welding lesson, but you got me curious. What's a girt?
What's a what?
Are you saying girt? You're up on a girt?
Girder.
Girder.
I was up on a girder.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or on a vert. I might have said vert. It might sound like that. But,
yeah. Okay.
I was on a vert's a vertical weld.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
I'm with you. Yeah, I know nothing about that world, man. But that's what you do. And I know that's it's probably hourly pay and it's good hourly, very competitive, I would imagine. So it's hard to walk away from. But do you have plans at some point to go all in full time with your online business?
I definitely do. It's a funny thing. I've been praying for years to quit doing what I'm doing the year I turned 40, which is actually this year.
Gotcha.
And the closer it got to it, I was like, yeah, it ain't going to happen. I'm like, there's no way I can possibly do this. And then this happened starting in October and to now. And I'm like, okay, I maybe I jumped a little bit ahead of myself. Maybe I shouldn't have doubted what can happen. And I told my wife, I think with the Amazon income and working at least through the rest of this year, paying stuff off with my income, that way 100% of Amazon can be reinvested into Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could possibly do it if I want by the end of the year. Just do Amazon.
That's a goal. That's awesome.
Yes, that is a big goal. Plus, I'm big into investing on top of that.
Sure.
Stocks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got laid off last year, that's what I did. When I was off, nobody was hiring. I doubled my IRA last year. And I found a lot of useful sources on as far as researching stocks because of it. And then, like I said, Amazon.
Right. Yep. That's fantastic, man. So how many hours are you putting into your, your Amazon business right now? Like you're working, is it full-time?
I just started back up this week.
Okay. So this is the first week full-time. So you're just kind of stepping into rebalancing this whole thing. Is it working out okay so far?
Well, I mean, it is so far, but we'll see. I mean, my wife's going to help me a lot with the FBA. And then if I have to, I can do it in the evenings, which is what I was doing before when I was working 60 hours a week.
Yeah. So you guys will settle back into a new routine.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then at least this company I'm working for, I'm only working 5 days a week instead of 6. So I will have Saturdays to do this too. Whereas before I was working 6/10s, sourcing 2 nights a week. I'd go to the store. I'd text my wife, say, hey, I'm going to the store. And she knew I wasn't going to be home till at least 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
And I did that twice a week, usually.
Gotcha. Hey, super short interruption before we get back to the content. I just wanted to let you know about a really cool deal that our friends at Helium 10 have put together, helium10.com, discount code SSMR, as in Silent Sales Machine Radio. 50% off your first month on a robust suite of tools used by over 1 million Amazon sellers around the world. Go check it out. Many users in our community swear by Helium 10. I love the data that they put out. They've put a lot of time and energy into creating a robust suite of tools that can really help you with your business, making good decisions on what to buy. Helium10.com, discount code SSMR.
I'm going to the store and she knew I wasn't going to be home till at least 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
And I did that twice a week, usually.
Gotcha.
So,
well, I love how this business model fits around whatever other routine and schedule you might have.
Oh, yeah.
You can squeeze it into the cracks. I just interviewed someone yesterday with 2 full-time jobs, and she's got a $30,000 a month business. Sounds similar size to what you've got rocking. This is the kind of business that you can squeeze in. So I think you guys are going to do great with it.
I like the fact that it fits around your time, not somebody else telling you what to do.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. I read a quote not too long ago, said entrepreneurs are people who are willing to work 80 hours a week so they don't have to work for someone else 40 hours a week. Like, guys, there's something to that. But it's not that. You don't have to work that many hours. I mean, what's your, when you're going all in on Amazon, how many hours a week are you working it if you're able to maintain the level you're at?
When I was laid off, this last time, I actually was doing a lot of long weeks, 60, 80 hours probably, looking for stuff. Even I didn't want to pull from my IRAs anymore because that's how I pulled what I did to get started. So I actually found more items than I could sell because I didn't have the money to reinvest into from my Amazon funds. So I had to actually wait on some of them.
That's a great point you make. Yeah. You were outworking your money.
Yes.
You're finding so many products, and we hear this, once they understand the system, there's more products than you have money to invest in those products. That's going to be the challenge because they're everywhere. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Everywhere. And it's like I was telling you earlier about, that one product I just found. It's a higher priced item. It's $50-$60 per buy, but it sells for over $100.
Right.
So, but you got to have that money to buy it.
And once it sells, Amazon doesn't give you the money right away. You got to wait a little bit. So yeah, there's the churn of the money, right? The cash flow. So you got to manage that. Right.
That's why I wanted to go back to work, because I was having to pull from my Amazon funds to pay bills. And then that kept me from, advancing my business up.
Makes sense. Well, I want to ask you, this is kind of like, consider this a final third of the program where we kind of start saying, hey, what are some things that you might want to say to the listeners or people who are starting this journey or on this journey, some tips or strategies, some lessons maybe, and just kind of brainstorm, or I don't know if you've written anything down ahead of time, but what were you hoping to cover in this episode? Anything along those lines?
One thing I did want, because Adam had told me you would ask me a question like that.
Yeah.
Was a lot of people try to do it all alone. And I told, like I told Adam, I said, one thing I'll probably say is that find someone you can trust, someone like I know Adam for over 25 years, and work together. You can keep your businesses separate. You have yours, They have theirs, but that gives you twice as many things to sell, twice as many heads to find products without having to pay somebody else to source for you.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's what, Adam and I did.
I'll find good ASINs and we'll clear out all the stores in this area, and I'll text a coaching student or one of my buddies or, someone else that I know could use a little boost. Like, hey, check out this ASIN. Just shoot him a quick text, right? Holy cow, where'd you get it? Walmart, $4. You're seller number 4. Don't tank the price. Let's go. And there's no reason not to do that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, and that's like when I pointed that out to Adam, he goes, well, he's like, that's like we do in the group. You got 65,000 people all helping each other.
Yeah.
But the one thing you don't do is tell anybody what you're selling in the group, because then you got 65,000 people that see, oh, I'm going to look at that product.
Exactly. So, we were very transparent, but we're not going to say, hey, here's all the products you can go buy right now, because that's just, that's why I have never promoted buy lists. Some people really like them. I'm not a big fan, because as soon as you buy a buy list, it's probably getting sold and resold, and whoever's putting that list together is probably selling it to different sources. It's a good place to get started, maybe to do some research, but the real secret sauce is finding products on your own. And then, have one or two people that you just do, swaps with.
And that's, I didn't know about the buy list until like a month ago. Right. Somebody talking about them. I was like, what is this? And then somebody like last week was commenting in the Facebook group about how the product list they bought, all the prices got bombed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so, luckily they were only out $100. I think they paid for the list.
Yeah. Yeah. You buy the list, and at first it's like, whoa, what a bunch of winners. And you go to the store and you buy them and you send them in, and then, wait, there weren't 43 sellers on this item last week. There was only 3. What happened? Well, those other people bought the same list you did.
Yes. Yeah. And one thing I found too is a lot of people have never used Keepa. I guarantee some of these sellers have never used it, because there was one item I saw, people tank the price now that I sold it for about a month and the sales rank went up. But I had an item that was ranked 780,000. Nobody's going to sell this item. But I looked at it, and I looked at Keepa, and I looked back 2-3 years, and Amazon had been selling it, but I don't know why they decided to quit selling it like 2 years ago, well before COVID. And I was like, man, that was a really good sales rank. It got as high as, I think, in the top 100,000. I'm like, let me buy a couple. And it started off slow because obviously that high sales rank, it's not showing up on a lot of searches. But then it sold once, then it sold again. And then I got to a point where over the last 2 months, I was averaging one sale a day on that item. But it's $15 profit every sale. And now it's a $5 profit every sale on a $35, $38 sale. And I'm like, $5 is not enough when you're starting to get up to $30 to $40. It's starting to get too much risk for me to buy a whole bunch of that product. So,
yeah,
but
I mean, they're out there. They're out using there. Keepa. I think the lesson on that, and maybe we didn't drive it home enough, is just Keepa. That's all you use. You don't need any lists or any of these $200 a month, database, because they're all using the same. I did a podcast episode, just a couple episodes behind this one by the time it publishes, but talking about don't buy any tools until you're putting money in the bank. Keepa is all you need. And some people just stay right there. That's all you need. Keepa is doing its own dirty work. And all the other tools are using the same data from Amazon. Every other tool out there except Keepa, which scrapes Amazon's entire database. And that's how we're able to follow the rank as it goes up and down. And that tells you a lot. So we don't care what the rank is right now. We care how much has that rank been bouncing the past 3 months, 9 months, 3 years. How much has that rank been bouncing? That tells you a lot.
And that one product, it didn't have any sellers for almost a year. That's why it was 780,000.
Yeah. And only Keep is going to show you, hey, this rank was bouncing up and down hot and heavy 9 months ago, year ago, right? So.
And there's one thing I just found out only like a month ago that I actually told a couple of people in the Facebook group about, because they were like, oh, this listing's saying this item's selling. There's like 2 sellers on it for an obscene amount of money. And I'm like, there's no way. So I told them about the variations, and I found out you can look on the variations and it tells you exactly where every single review is going. I was like, oh, that would have been some nice info. I found a couple listings I was on, found out why they weren't selling because I didn't know that the variations actually told you which ones were selling.
That's a great tip. And I like Rev Seller for that as well. But yeah, if you look at which products are being reviewed, and maybe we should talk about what variations are. Let's say there's a product and it comes in red, blue, and green flavor. And the red's selling like crazy, but the blue and green look like they're priced very profitably, but they never sell. So you get excited when you see the blue and the green. You're like, oh, wow, I'm going to grab some of these because look at the price on those. And Keepa shows this bounce and grab. Well, all the sales are with the red brand, the red version. Blue and green are just sitting there never selling with great prices, but they don't sell. Looking at the variations is where you can dig in and you can see, okay, which products are actually getting the reviews. That's your clue. Which one's selling? If red's getting all the reviews and blue and green are just sitting on the shelf getting no reviews, with a great price, but who cares if you can't sell it? Yep. You can just move on and say, unless I can find the reds, I'm not going to get on this listing. So nice. That's variation. And Keepa helps you with that. And Rev Seller makes it super simple as well. It's one of my favorite tools as well.
Adam told me that's his favorite tool. I haven't gotten it yet, but he keeps telling me I need to get Rev Seller. I don't want to get too much stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll hook you up, man. Shoot me an email. I know the guy that launched Rev Seller. He's a guy in our community. And we get the best price. He sells it cheaper through our community than he does on his own website because we helped him launch it, Nathan. But I'll hook you up for free, man. Get you a year Rev Seller. You're gonna love it.
Is it Nathan Bailey?
No, another Nathan. Different.
I didn't know if it was that Nathan or not.
We got a lot of Nathans. Nathan's our coaching director. Now this is a different one, and I remember when he shot me over it's been a few years back. He said, hey, I want you guys to test this out, see if you like it. And our whole leadership team and our coaches tried it out. Every single one of them were like, this next to Keepa is the best tool I've ever used. And basically it just puts a pop-up anytime you're on Amazon.com and you're scrolling around. You don't have to be logged in to Amazon. Every page you go to, it puts a little window, kind of like Keepa does.
Okay.
It puts a little window there, and it tells you how much profit you can make on that item. You just plug in your your buy price, and it says, here's how much you make FBA. Here's how much you make FBM. If there's any variations, it pulls all kinds of nice data, puts it right on the screen for you. So you don't have to do any thinking, basically. It tells you your ROI. It's beautiful.
I think actually Adams has sent me a few screenshots of that now that you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't used that myself, but he sends me screenshots of some stuff, and I'm like, oh, like, okay, that looks pretty cool, but
yeah,
I've never.
What is that box? Yeah. That's RevSeller. Yeah. provenamazoncourse.com/RevSeller, RevSeller for the listeners. Of course, Anthony's going to get it free because he was a great podcast guest. So we're going to hook him up. But yeah, everyone else can go. The links to anything we've mentioned today will be at silentgym.com/podcast in the show notes too. So you can jump in there and get a hold of anything we talked about today. Keepa, RevSeller, Proven Amazon Course, which is where Anthony got his start. But what else do you have? Any other tips or strategies? Anything else you wanted to share with the listeners as we start to wrap this one up?
I mean, another tool I just started using like a month and a half ago was Be Cool, the repricer.
Repricer, yeah.
Adam told me about that one, and I was like, all right, because I got tired of checking my listings, especially once I started getting up there. Like, man, I'm having to check all these listings. These guys keep moving the price. They're beating me by a penny. They're getting the buy box by a penny. I put mine to match their price now, and I don't have to do anything. I just put my low price, my high price if nobody else is on the listing. I'm like, man, that's saved me hours and hours a week on not having to check my listings all the time.
Yes, we have a really good, there's a handful of good repricers out there. We have a good tutorial in our private Replens Facebook group. If you're a proven Amazon course student, you're eligible to get in there. And we step you through. Are you in there? There's a good tutorial on how to set your repricer up with the parameters that we suggest. So yeah, you don't have to go in and monitor your prices constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it because I didn't know you had a little tutorial on that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jimmy did a good one. Steps you through what settings you should put in there as a Replens seller to maximize your results. Yeah, That's good stuff. Well, awesome. That's a great tool. That's a great tip as well. A repricer can save you a lot of time for sure. So anything else, man?
I mean, that's all I can think of. I mean, just, I know I seen somebody the other day, saying that they found like one replen, they couldn't find nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, biggest thing I've seen a lot of people talking on there, and I know it's in your replens videos. Don't just scan the barcodes.
No.
A lot of people do that. That's what I was doing at first. And Adam said, dude, don't do that. And I hadn't watched enough of your replens videos at that time. I watched a couple more, and that was in one of those. And the one guy was showing you how to word search.
Yep.
And I'm like, and he said, you're not going to go to Amazon shopping and scan a barcode to find the item to buy it. You're typing in the words. And I'm like, yeah, okay, this guy's right. Why am I scanning this? And I'm like, wow, I would have never found this listing right here if I would have just been scanning this barcode.
That's right.
So
a lot of times when sellers set up a listing on Amazon, you have to realize, if I'm selling this water on Amazon, I may or may not put the barcode in the listing. If I'm selling a 3-pack of this, I may leave that blank, or I may put in the wrong barcode. So if you're coming along going, I wonder what these bottles of water are selling for on Amazon, and you scan a barcode on one of these, you're going to see the listings where people did follow the rules and put the barcode on the listing, but you're not going to see my listing where I left that field blank. And that could be the one where it's selling like crazy and you're never going to see it. Because what you should have done is typed in the brand name and scrolled down to see what you see on page 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of the best replens are a few scrolls down. You do the Keepa research. You look at what RevSeller has to say. And you say, wow, okay, 2 sellers? This thing's selling 40 times a month according to Keepa. And I can make about $18 profit a sale. Yeah, well, I'm going to go test this thing out, right? And it's that same boring bottle of water that if you just scan the barcode, you never would have saw it.
Well, and the funny thing about that is, to prove a point, Adam gave me a little hint on an item. And he goes, hey, check out these. And I'm like, okay. And I searched, my wife was driving from somewhere. We were about an hour. So I had an hour to search. And I'm searching for the whole time. And I can't find the item. And then next thing you know, I start, I'm getting on my computer too and all this stuff. And I'm like, because I was like, I can't find that item, Adam. And he told me exactly what the price was and everything. And I'm like, what is it? And he had told me what it was, but not whether it was a bundle or anything like that. I'm like,
he made you do some work.
maybe do some work to prove a point that scanning barcodes and not just use Amazon seller app. You need to use the shopping app. You need to use search Google, everything to find it. And I found it. I finally did find the item he was talking about, but it took me like 2 hours just
if he'd have just given you the little ASIN, you'd have been on it immediately, but he wanted you to do some research.
He wanted me to learn my lesson on that. And because of that, I learned to search a certain ways to find stuff.
Yeah. Dig a little deeper.
Oh yeah.
And that's awesome. Good. Yeah. A good lesson, because once you're good at this, you really can be so, and there's several strategies for this. So many good strategies. If you go through the Replens course, that's one of the only courses in the collection of modules of the Proven Amazon course. Many of them, you start working as you're going through the course. You're kind of building as you go. With Replens, we say watch it all the way through and then go back through and do it, because you're going to get more confident than you should be really early on and real excited really early on, but you're not going to know enough to go out and actually make it work until you've been through it. Because we do cover later on, like, well, here's how to avoid IP complaints. Here's what separates something that looks like a winner from something that actually is a winner. There's a lot of good little lessons in there. So it sounds like you're really on. You got some good momentum though, for sure. And you've definitely got a good buddy in Adam, for sure. He's taking care of you, and Abe as well, another great coach on our team. So you're in the community plugged in. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm glad I actually, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even be an Amazon seller right now. Because it's funny thing is, when Adam told me about your PAC course, now let me ask, how long has that PAC course been around? At least 6-8 years, right?
Over 10 at this point.
I actually saw your PAC course probably 8 or 10 years ago. I told Adam, I said, I saw it on when I was thinking about getting in, and I was like, $29 a month, I think it was, right?
When it first came out, it was a one-time payment of $99, I think.
It might have been.
And it was just a very small, it just a fraction, maybe 1/50th of what it is now as far as total content. But yeah, it's been around for about 10 years.
Well, I told Adam, I said, I know I'm pretty confident I actually saw your Proven Amazon course. And I was like, no, they just want, it's a scam, right? I'm like, because there were so many on the internet. Yep. And I told Adam, I said, if I would have known back then, I said, I could have already been established, had a whole lot more. I could have been the one that got him in, but.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Some of our early students have just gone on to, some of them dropped off and moved on and done other things, but some of our early students are just phenomenal success stories on Amazon. It's incredible. We've kind of ridden the wave of this growth for, coming up on a decade now. It's been astounding to watch. But I love the fact that it's still something that, even if you're coming in now, some people say, hey, when's the best time to get started? Well, 5 years ago was a great time. Second best time is right now. Kind of like planting a tree. Like, when's the best time to plant a tree? Well, 10 years ago would have been good. But if you haven't done it yet, today's good, because the future just looks so bright. More and more people are shopping online. E-commerce is exploding. Amazon is dominating. Over half of all transactions in the United States online are on Amazon. Doesn't mean I don't love all the other platforms, but come on, that's the monster in the room. That's where all the eyeballs are. Let's figure out how to make some money from that.
And I actually looked that up after you said that, because I was like, well, where does everybody buy it? Because I don't just, even though it was you, and I trust what you said because of everything else you said in the group, I still look things up.
Of course.
And I think it's like,
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. And I think it was like 54% or something like that of all online sales are on Amazon.
Yeah. And like
was Walmart.
Number 2 was like, Walmart is what, like 12% or something in second place. I mean, it's just like,
I think it was 21.
was it?
I think it was.
They've been making a bit of a comeback, but I mean, still that,
but it's
far less than half.
Amazon.
Yeah. And the rule of thumb too, if people start selling on Walmart, is if you sell 10 units on Amazon, you're going to sell one on Walmart as a third party seller. I mean, that's just kind of, it's 1/10 of the expected results for, apples to apples products. So Amazon's the monster in the room. And as long as that's the low hanging fruit, that's what we're going to keep on teaching. But we love all those other platforms. We've created content to educate and train on the other platforms, but this is the best place to start from our vantage point, which is why we plug away at it so hard. But well, it was great having you as a guest, Anthony. I really appreciate it, man. And thanks for carving out some time. You got a very busy life and a lot going on. And you didn't tell us a whole about your family. You're married, I picked up on, and you got some kids.
Yeah, I'm married. My wife will be 19 years in July.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
I got 4 brothers, but I end up getting 4 daughters myself. I get all girls.
Wow.
Which is great. I love it. I probably was not the right person to have boys. So I probably would have still been the same old rough person if I had all boys.
They've calmed you down a little bit, have they? Smoothed you over a little bit.
Yes, they were hot.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
People usually laugh at their names because people that know us call my daughters the shushes. Shaylee, Shyla, Cherie, Charlotte.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a mouthful, man. And what's your wife's name?
Sonia. With S. She doesn't have the SH, but she got the S. And then then I'm just Anthony,
And I'm Tony.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it, man.
Because my brother, they always pick on me when I come to Ohio if I'm not wearing like a coat or something. They're like, I'm Tony. Oh, look at me. I'm tough.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great getting to know you. Are you coming to Tampa by any chance in July?
I actually am. Adam told me him and I are going to room together. It's
beautiful.
And him, it's a double room. It's almost like a, I can't remember how to explain it, but it has a common area and then two
like a suite with 2 rooms kind of thing.
Suite.
Beautiful, dude. That's awesome. You guys are going to have a blast. This resort's awesome. So hopefully this podcast episode comes out in time for those who haven't heard yet. theprovenconference.com. We're going to have hundreds of listeners to this podcast in Tampa, Florida, July 12th through 14th. theprovenconference.com. Get your tickets. Still plenty of room. Unfortunately, virtually none of our international friends are coming this year, and that's about 30% of our audience. I mean, they just can't travel yet because of COVID. So that's going to really stink not having them there. But we still got a nice crowd showing up and coming, mainly just U.S. folks and those brave enough to maybe drive down from Canada. But it's going to be a blast, man. So looking forward to seeing you there.
I appreciate it.
It's going to be great. Well, let me just wrap this one up, talk to the listeners for just a minute, and thank you guys for hanging out with Anthony and I today a little bit, hopefully learn some new tips and strategies, got some encouragement, and just another family man, another guy that's plugging away, doing this business the right way. And I find these episodes very encouraging. I can't get enough of the testimonial episodes like this where people are just talking about how they've built their business and fit it into their life. Hopefully you benefited too. We'd love it if you'd leave us a review. If you're listening on YouTube or watching on iTunes or whatever your favorite podcast app is, leave us a review there. We'd certainly appreciate that. 5 stars, thumbs up, whatever. Subscribe as well at silentjim.com/updates. And that way, every time we have a new episode, you'll get an alert on your smartphone and you won't miss any of these episodes. And last thing, if you're watching on YouTube, I need to let you know most of our episodes aren't on YouTube. They're at silentjim.com/podcast. You're missing a lot if you're just watching us on YouTube. So jump over there and listen using your favorite podcast app. Most people use iTunes, and you can catch up on what you've missed. So God bless all the business building warriors out there. Anthony, thanks. You were a great guest today.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, good having you here. Thank your wife for loaning you to us for a little while here. And to all the business building warriors, we'll have another great episode again for you real soon. Talk to you then. Hey, before we go, just a quick thing. I wanted to remind you that Helium 10 has become a great sponsor of this show. They've got an offer exclusive for the audience, the listeners, the business building warriors of this community. If you go to helium10.com and use the discount code SSMR, as in Silent Sales Machine Radio, You get the tool that's being used by over 1 million Amazon sellers at this point. They're actively tracking over 2 billion different products on Amazon at any given time, providing data and helping you make good decisions on what products you should and shouldn't sell, as well as an entire suite of products that help you run your entire Amazon business instead of piecing it together a little bit from here, a little bit from there. It's a great tool. Many, many coaches on our team use it, the content creators. I know that Nathan, our coaching director, swears by it as well. So we were very excited to bring them on as a sponsor. Again, Helium 10, discount code SSMR, and they'll take good care of you. Hey, God bless you, business building warrior.